seeking revenge on a narcissistic person. Most people at some point within their lives, when they realise they've been duped or conned or deceived, when they've been betrayed, do naturally have feelings of wanting to seek revenge. Most people, when they realise that something painfully devastating has happened to a loved one, naturally want to go and attack the person that's hurt their loved one. They will naturally say, if that would happen to me, or if that had happened to a loved one, I would go and do this. However, having the ability to know the difference between right and wrong usually holds people back from going to do what they would like to do to somebody that has hurt them or hurt one of their loved ones, and they go all out to help the justice system take control of the situation, because they might act in a manner that isn't of their best interest, isn't of their nature. So often it's not revenge that people are after, it is justice. And the thing is, people who repent, people who take responsibility for their behaviour, people who learn from the mistakes they make and change, you can forgive, you can recognise that they made a mistake, and you can both learn and grow and move on, whether that's together or separately. It's those people who seemingly get away with their behaviour, don't suffer any form of consequences for their behaviour, who go around hurting people and don't take responsibility, just blame everybody else, where no matter how much justice you serve them, no matter how much revenge they receive from others, they're not going to get it. They're just going to use that as why they're the victim, why people are after them, why people are hurting them. Now, when it comes to being betrayed, it's absolutely heartbreaking. It's devastating. You kind of lose a sense of who you were and what life was. You lose a sense of what life is right now in the moment. You become so full of self-doubt. You question yourself. You feel stupid. You lose a sense of what life's going to be in the future. Being betrayed by someone, literally your world crumbles from beneath you, and you've got to figure it all out again. You once had it all figured out, and then someone who claimed to care about you betrayed you, and you've got to then refigure it all out. Being betrayed can naturally lead to feelings of bitterness and resentment. It can lead you into a very dark place, because you've been plunged into a dark place by somebody else's betrayal towards you, or betrayal towards a loved one of yours. It plunges you into that dark place, and it can send you spiraling into resentment, bitterness, and seeking revenge. It can lead you to having fantasies of revenge, of how you'll get one over on somebody. And more often than not, it's down to the fact that we just can't understand why somebody would treat us in that way. We can't understand why somebody would treat a loved one in that way. We can't understand why somebody would lie to us in some of the most cruelest ways. We can't understand why someone would betray us in some of the most calculated ways. That betrayal, and that then not being able to understand why people do the things they do, it leads naturally to feelings of resentment. It leads us into that dark place. And that's why you kind of have to get out of the darkness. I know it's a bit cliche, but you kind of have to get out of the darkness by finding the light. And there's a few ways to go around this, but the two main ways to go around this is to gain the understanding of what has happened to you, to get you out of the darkness and the confusion of what has happened to you, to spend your present moment focused on finding out what on earth has just gone on, what you have just lived through, while creating success for yourself in the future, while creating a new path for you, something to, a cliche, a light to guide you into a direction better for you in your future, to get you away from the darkness, to get you away from seeking revenge. You look to gain understanding of the situation, and you look to gain a new future, something to drive you forward. And you have to be careful around narcissistic people, because in one sense, you don't need to seek any form of revenge on narcissistic people, because they go around doing what they do to other people because they are very envious, very self-entitled, very arrogant, very cynical, very bitter, very resentful people that go around betraying others, hurting others, lying to others, deceiving others, because they're in the dark. They're living a miserable life. They're not willing to see the light because they're too busy blaming everybody else for their problems. So they're never going to take responsibility for the mistakes they make. And unfortunately, some of their mistakes will not be their own. They're going to be stuck on seeking revenge on others. And you don't have to do anything to hurt a narcissistic person. You can just move on with your life. This is going to offend them. This is going to cause that bitterness and resentment within them. They're going to believe you've betrayed them by moving on from their hurtful, toxic behaviour, and they seek to punish you. So you do have to be careful around narcissistic people when moving on. And this is why your success, and we're all successful in our own right, but this is why you creating new dreams, you creating new visions, instead of creating visions of revenge, instead of fantasizing on revenge, fantasizing on what you would like out of your future, what you would like out of your life, what course you would like to do, what hobbies you would like to do, what activities you'd like to get into, what books you would like to read, and drive your focus into those, into things that are going to bring you understanding, bring you success in one form or another. But don't let a narcissistic person know, because this is going to hurt them and they will seek to sabotage you because they're in a dark place. Don't necessarily need to seek revenge on people that are already that hurt within themselves, that they betray others. Being betrayed, finding out you've been betrayed, is a bit of a wake-up call, and we don't necessarily want to, but we have to consciously become aware of what has happened to us, what we've been through, that we've been deceived, that we've been lied to. We become conscious of what's happened. We've been living in a dark place with them, and their betrayal coming to light, cliche I know, their betrayal coming to light brings that light back into our life. We can either plummet further into the darkness with them, or we can recognize their betrayal of who they are as a person and break free from them to find our path in life, to find the things that bring us joy, to find the things that bring us happiness, and walk away from those who bring us pain. We can often cling on for various reasons. We can cling on because it seems more painful to break free when it's actually more painful to stay. We have to make a choice to leave. Sometimes that choice is taken away from us, which is even more painful in one aspect, not always. However, we have to learn from that, and we have to grow from that. Labelling. People are for labelling, people are against labelling. However, labelling gives us understanding. Learning what has happened to us gives us understanding. Learning about other people's behaviour not only helps us learn why they treated us in such a way, it helps us learn why we put up with them treating us in such a way. And it also helps us recognise things that we might do, that kind of, when we accidentally gaslight someone, when we say to someone, jump up, it's not that bad, trying to help them, but actually we're not. We're invalidating their current reality. So it brings into light things that we can work to improve on also. We can't understand what we don't know. When we understand the terminology, when we understand the labels, when we understand the reasons behind things, it brings light into the situation. We're in the darkness when we don't understand about it all. When we do have the information to understand it, we are then awake, we are then conscious to what is happening around us. And yes, sometimes we can become a bit too conscious and it become a bit scary, and we do have to rein ourselves back in a bit and recognise that not everybody is like that. Narcissistic people believe everybody is bitter and resentful and envious and out to get them. And it's not a great place to live. So we have to recognise that not everybody is like that. But understanding narcissism, understanding different personality disorders, understanding why people do the things that they do, brings order to the madness of the world at times. It brings understanding to what's happening. It takes us out of the darkness of the betrayal into the light of the consciousness of what we've been through. It naturally changes how we see the person. It naturally changes our understanding of that person. And when someone sold you an illusion of who they are, they've put you in that dark place so you can't see who they are. And then when their betrayal comes to light, when you don't understand why they do these things, learning about narcissism helps us to understand why they do such hurtful things. And it also changes our perception on that person to make it easier to break free from that person, to step away from the darkness, the shadow of a narcissistic person. And sometimes during that journey, we do face our own shadows of things that we might not be that proud of within ourselves. But we have to step away from them to find our light, to find our success, to find our journey, to find our future. It's more than normal to want revenge on someone who's betrayed you. Often it is justice that we seek. However, more often than not, what we seek to gain is understanding and knowledge and awareness so that we can work to improve our life. Because those who seek to take other people down are full of hatefulness and bitterness, and they seek to punish others. So narcissistic people, in one sense, serve their own revenge by the way they go around treating the people. It is more about them than it ever will you. And a narcissist will twist and accuse you of being the bitter one, which quite rightfully so, with some of the things that they do to you, you might be feeling bitter, but they're going to sell that story to other people so that the narcissist can gain sympathetic attention. And what they're actually doing is deceiving those other people. And you can't explain it to those other people because they're in the darkness. They can't see what the narcissistic person is doing. Unfortunately, as painful as it is, they do have to learn for themselves. We can kind of want to dive in there and stop people from going through the suffering we've been through. However, it doesn't always work, especially if you've got a narcissistic person lying to those people. Narcissists are very good at manipulation. It's how they deceive so many. However, they can't keep you in the darkness forever. Eventually you do learn who they truly are, and you do get the best revenge, which is moving on without them and creating a happier life for you. If anyone has any thoughts on this video, please do add those into the comments. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers and your continued support with the channel. It's greatly appreciated. If you are new to the channel, I'm Elizabeth Shaw. This channel is all about narcissistic behaviour to give you more understanding of the people you might be dealing with within your life, how to handle yourself around these people if you cannot go no contact, and different methods to find what works for you to help you understand and overcome narcissistic and emotional abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please do subscribe. If you are looking for further help and support in understanding and overcoming narcissistic and emotional abuse, I do have several online guides available, and those teachable links are in the video description. If you're looking for someone to speak to, I have partnered with BetterHelp, and their sponsored link is also in the video description. Go out there and create the day that you deserve, because you do deserve to have an amazing day. Bye.